Hello, traders. It's 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on Wednesday, the 28th of February, 2018. Thanks for joining me again. Thanks to you who have come here every day for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been doing this. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The market stance this morning really mostly unchanged. The Nasdaq's up 27 points, 0.4%. Nasdaq's the leader today. I want to remind you that the U.S. Treasuries have rolled to June, so we're trading the M8 or M18 contract in those products. Rollover in U.S. indices takes place on the 8th, next Thursday. Not tomorrow, but next Thursday. Overall, not seeing too much going on today. The overnight session was stable. There was a fair bit of news coming out of China and Germany and the UK and so on. Busy day. And we just got GDP, which was in line. Looking for a number at 9:45 and a number at 10 o'clock Eastern. A quick note. It looks like baby's almost here, maybe today. So I may not be around tomorrow, but who knows? Just letting you know. Let's review yesterday and what was expected. There we go. Yesterday, the primary hypothesis or scenario was for a continuation of the trend up. Remember, we closed neutral extreme on Monday, following neutral extreme high on Friday. So neutral extreme high, Friday, Monday, expecting continuation to 2,800. And so the primary scenario was to look for a dip to buy. And the secondary scenario was also looking for a push higher with a dip to buy. Neither one of these worked out. Scenario 3 was a push higher and a drop to 2770 from approximately 2787. And that somewhat worked. But really the driver yesterday was our new Fed chair and his stance on interest rates. So we see here we got an open auction sideways. We started to make our way higher, and the testimony started to drop the market. We ended up with a somewhat of a bearish engulfing day. We took out the high of the prior day and the low of the prior day with a close at the low. Trend style profile, transitioning, point of control, elongated profile, no value area. You see the value area here in gray, not valid. There's no balance. There isn't a Gaussian curve there. So the market's just consistently selling off yesterday into the closing at lows. So that's where we ended up. Transition that into the overnight session. The overnight session had some relapse on the sellers, pushing higher a little bit. Expected a test of around 57 right here. You can see pretty decent area right here. Right there, expected a relapse, a pullback to that area. It stopped just short, 54.5, and then continued to make lower lows at 2738.50. And now pushing higher. So what we have is somewhat of a cup and handle formation, pivot points right here, and it's trying to push through. The target to the upside would be 2770. The 2-day composite point of controls around 27.79. If you have flex levels, it's marked on there. But the overnight session has had pretty good volume, has tested in both directions, has somewhat of a P shape right here. And my expectation yesterday, and I tweeted to someone, I don't know who it was, that the selling yesterday, so look at this selling here, maybe the 15-minute will show it better. Let's get rid of the stock zones. So we open up and trade sideways. Delta's going in the same direction. So if you follow these bars here, these gray bars, you can see that the delta is moving with price. There it is. And then it starts to sell off on the Powell news, and delta gets back to about 0 right there at the low of this move. Okay. And then it tests the mid setup was perfect yesterday. Mid VWAP in the low volume node area from the prior day, just picture perfect. Delta pops real quick, almost, a lower high, but pops quite a bit. And then we continue to sell off into the close, and the delta just barely scrapes back to 0 again until we get to the closing bar. And the closing bar sees a lot of delta selling. And that makes sense. Delta selling into the close, margin calls, people holding large positions, intraday positions now have to hit the bid to get out to balance their account and just eat the loss or whatever. That's what that looked like to me. At least the activity in Bookmap looked that way. But overall, given the range of the selling yesterday, the delta didn't play into it very much. And so to me, delta participation on the sell-off normally is very high. Per unit of price, so per tick rally, how much delta goes into a strong tick rally versus per tick drop delta, or the volume delta per tick of drop is usually about 1.5 to 2 times as much. And yesterday, the selling did not bring in much aggressive selling, aggressors, and it brought us back to the gap zone. And it closed the gap close from last Friday. But to me, this treatment here tells me that there's either a lack of interest in selling or buyers accumulating on the way down. And given the P-shaped profile from the overnight, it seems that way. To me, today looks like it is likely to base and to continue higher. So that's how things are shaping up. So to me, to get right down to it, let's reset this. To me, this looks like an open auction in range, a drop into the open or to yesterday's close, consolidate, and I'm looking for an impulse higher. I'm looking for the market to consolidate. Let me pull up my stock levels. Consolidate in the stock level here, then continue higher. Okay, and then it's likely to hold steady in the afternoon in this area and back to 27.76 to finish up. That's the primary scenario. So my view on the action is that it's likely to pop higher this morning into the close. That's what I'm looking for in a primary scenario. Secondary scenario, it does an open auction, it drops, it pushes right into this double confluence area here, pushes back into the range, consolidates, and starts to move back towards the 2769 area or 2760 area. That's scenario 2. Scenario 2 is looking for a bigger dip, but I'm looking for buyers to show up down here. So each one of these stock zones are areas for me to stock along on a first test. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for today. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, so I'll leave you with that. You can come up with your own scenario 3, 4, and 5. We could test higher, fail, and fall off, and end up at 2,700 today. But again, it is much more likely that we would base and turn up today. So if you're short, consider what you're going to do with that short if the market starts turning up. Okay? So I'll leave you with that. If I'm not here tomorrow, I'll tweet out saying that I'm not, and the baby's on the way. But that's how things are shaping up right now. Good luck.